When I was 12 years old, I became a Jack Nicholson superfan. This happened almost overnight on an evening in February 1997 when I first saw The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
In those 20-plus years, I never stopped being a Jack superfan.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Get ready for You Don't Know Jack, hosted by me. Subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform.
The Cross'em Wrestling Entertainment Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media, is what you AEW fans have been looking for. Noah Cross and Tyler Bard give their take on every week's episode of Dynamite. If you are a massive AEW fan, then it is time to join us every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Stay Cross'em.
The Boston Red Sox hit the field looking to get back on top of the American League East. We're breaking down every pitch all season long on Ovi's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
And welcome back to the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, the HHW Show podcast presented by CMG Sports Network. I got to get that name good because, you know, it's all about Clovercrest. That's right. You want to visit clovercrestmedia.com because they got at least 40 podcast shows that is hot. You want to check them out. And there's quite a selection because you got politics, you got religion, you got crime, you got it all, and of course sports, and our show, the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, and we're getting ready for SummerSlam. That's right. This Saturday it's SummerSlam 2021. We're gonna go over the match cards. We're gonna do a little bit of review of what happened this morning. We were talking with Steve from the SEW Wrestling Channel. So without ado, I'd like to welcome my co-hosts, Hector and Frank. Guys, it is SummerSlam. The biggest that we're going to start off with is Roman Reigns and John Cena, which is pretty much the top storyline for this pay-per-view. But we also, we're overseeing Lashley and Goldberg. We're going to be talking about that. And then which match was going to steal the show? And I'd like to have you guys' input in your predictions for now, because, again, we're going to have our prediction show this Saturday, and things could change between now and Saturday, right? So without further ado, here we go. Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. And before we do go ahead and talk about him, I would like to introduce Steve, and he said some good things. We had a good talk earlier. Check him out. Just listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly intrigue. It's arguably the biggest match WWE can put on. There's no argument and question with that. I do think some of the build has been questionable on this, like you said there, like saying Roman's been protected, like with failed gimmick after failed gimmick. Roman's on top of his game right now. This is totally different to what we saw back in 2017, where Roman stumbled on his lines in the promo and just couldn't hang with Cena. I love the face-to-face they had this past week, even if, again, some of the detail, Seth wasn't suffering with Roman before, and Dean Ambrose didn't run because of Roman. But at the same time, to see them in the ring, given that heat, given that environment, Roman able to hang with Cena on the mic as well, cool, calm, casual, arrogant, the tribal chief, head of the table like we're used to seeing. John Cena has got the energy that he's brought back with him. He's not here just for a payday. John Cena's here to try and make this as big as possible. I'm really hyped for this match. I think that when it comes down to it, it's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be, what's 65,000 going to be there? This is going to have the big fight feel about it. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this. This could be arguably, when you see that face-to-face at the start of the ring, this kind of gives me vibes of almost like Hogan versus Rock from WrestleMania 18. This could really be that big a deal. I think people will be talking about this long-term after we see this match. I don't know if you feel the same.
Frank, you guys, you the sack guy, right? So what he had mentioned, do you agree with him? Does this have the vibe of, like, again, passing the torch, or do you see a different angle to what Steve was saying?
Well, I mean, I think that as passing the torch, probably do I think it's like a really, really big match that you could compare to Hogan and The Rock? I don't think so. But I do think it is a big match, but not that comparison. I mean, it is passing the torch now that you really sit back and you look at it. But outside of that, who knows what could happen? I mean, maybe John Cena does become the 17-time world champ. So if that's the case, it's not passing the torch.
Okay. I see what you got. What about you, Hector?
Yeah, I kind of go along the line with Frank there. I don't see it going passing the torch because I don't see John Cena as an iconic figure as Hulk Hogan. I mean, I was never a Hogan fan, but when you think about wrestling and you think about WWF, WWE, I mean, 90% of the time people are going to say the first name is going to come out their mouth is Hulk Hogan, not John Cena. Okay, granted that John Cena has surpassed them title-wise, but when it comes to iconic, when it comes to wrestling, Hulk Hogan to me is going to be the biggest name in wrestling, even though Ric Flair has the titles, even though John Cena has the titles. So I don't think this is going to be one of those kind of matches.
Well, okay, no, as he said similar. He didn't say this is an icon like you're passing the torch. I just added that that phrase there. But what I'm getting at is, look, Hulk Hogan came back to the WWE, and eventually he had to let it go, right? Remember, he left WWE the first time, crossed over to WCW. He's coming back. By the time he came back, you already had Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had The Rock. You had all these guys, Triple H, the whole shebang, right? And somewhere down the line, there had to be that moment. So you mean to tell me now, John Cena left WWE temporarily. He went to Hollywood, though. He didn't go to no other programs. He now came back, right, against a guy that's the top of his game. There's no one in the WWE main roster more on top than Roman Reigns. So, and that perspective, I say is that, yes, I think it has a lot of similarities because, yeah, John Cena is the face and still is, to be honest with you, the face of WWE. No, you cannot mention, when you say WWE, you cannot say no sentence without John Cena. You can't.
Okay, now watch this real quick to touch up on that. You have, if you ask me, when I think of WWE, WWF, I think of who? Hogan, right? Now, if you go ahead and you ask Ovi, and you ask Ovi's son, or you ask my son, WWE, they're going to say John Cena. They're generational wrestlers. What was in our generation? Hogan.
Well, there was a lot of people in that generation.
Right.
I mean, we're going through like different eras. As fans, we remember all those. But you're absolutely right.
Well, when you look at top names, it's like comparing Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. They're generational players. They were the top of their generations, and it's the same thing with wrestling. It's a generation gap. It depends on who you're asking.
But still, there's always going to be one that's going to be on top of those other ones. Okay, if you're going to go with that comparison, Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq, yes, great names. But out of the three, who are people going to always talk about more? It's going to be Jordan.
I said Jordan.
Okay,
right.
So that's what it is with the wrestling. Okay, because Bruno Sammartino was way before my time, and he was a great champion. If you look at history,
if I ask my dad, hey, what wrestler did you like? What wrestler was your top wrestler? My dad's going to say Bruno Sammartino. If I tell him, hey, WWE, he's going to say Bruno Sammartino. Why? Because that's his generation. Hogan was our generation.
But that doesn't mean that he wasn't still alive for the Hogan regime.
Okay,
and the Cena regime. Right. You see?
You're right.
He could see all that, and he could still make a comparison that who was the bigger face? Sammartino, Hogan, Flair? I mean, when you think about it, it's going to be Hogan.
Well, no. I think Cena's been a bigger face. because Cena's always been the good guy.
Okay,
Cena's never
okay,
gone to
okay.
be the bad guy.
Wait. Now we're getting off track. Now we're going. Now
Yeah, we are.
We going. Read the title: Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus John Cena, and now we went way back into time. All right. So look, I know the passion of the past, right? Because we all have our favorites, right? But look at the time that John Cena's been there, and you got Roman Reigns. You know, do you think that the purpose of this for John Cena is one, getting back the fans back in the game of things for WWE now the pandemic's over, right? Knowing that there's going to be over 65,000 people at Las Vegas, which is the biggest attraction than WrestleMania, right? Or are we gonna? Or it's the purpose is he's going to be a 17-time champion, or he's just like we do to the car, right? When your battery dies, what do? You jumpstart it, right? Or is Cena's there to jumpstart back to where WWE needs to be? You know what I mean?
What do you mean where the WWE needs to be? The WWE doesn't need John Cena. Okay, all those years that Ric Flair was hanging around, he never became 17-time champion. I think this is all is just to put Cena's face out there again.
I want to correct you there. When it comes to just WWE, he did that shit in WCW. You know, there's only one true 16-time champion. That's John Cena doing it in one program.
Well, the fact that WWE did buy WCW,
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It makes him the world champion.
Doesn't matter. Did you see Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan back in the 80s? Absolutely not. So, again, but that's another story.
Record is records, though.
So there you go. Roman Reigns, John Cena. Going back to the topic here, Hector. Who do you got for this match?
Well, if we're going to go with predictions, I'm sticking with Roman Reigns. John Cena does not need this. John Cena don't need to be in this match. John Cena don't need to be in the WWE. Okay, the WWE is doing fine without him. Okay, I thought we all thought we saw the last of him when the Fiend put him out of his misery, because that was the first time John Cena has ever been decimated and annihilated. I mean, we've seen him get decimated by Brock Lesnar, but the Fiend was the worst case. Was the worst thing I've ever seen of John Cena.
Mentally, yes.
So why do we need John Cena? We don't. We don't need him. It's going fine with the tribal chief. It's perfectly fine.
Reasons being simple. WWE needs a jump start again.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Look,
that's where the jump start is. They got,
but they have all the fans. Yeah, they do. But they also have the fans all pissed off too, because they're releasing people left and right. So why not bring back John Cena? And then with John Cena, you give it that extra charge.
Instead of bringing Cena back, keep those who you're trying to cut. I mean, this.
I agree, but you know what?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. John Cena don't need to be here. He don't need to be wrestling in one of the biggest pay-per-views. It doesn't. It make no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I say John Cena's going to win.
Well, I'm not. I'm sticking with Roman Reigns on this one, and I'm not even a Roman Reigns fan. But you got to pick your poison, right?
All right. Hey, totally noted. But there's something else that me and Steve talked about earlier was I don't think I picked the winner. I different scenarios to where we're not mentioning that third superstar that got pissed on, and that was Finn Balor. Balor got cheated out from getting a title shot against Roman Reigns. Was not to say that Finn Balor gets involved in this match in SummerSlam. Then again, we haven't had SmackDown yet on Friday, right? We still got one more episode to see. But if Finn Balor is not in that picture, could we see Finn Balor in there? At the end of the match, whoever wins gets put out and allow a Big E or Baron Corbin to try to attempt to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I don't see it. I mean, it's just too much going on. I mean, it's great scenarios, but I don't see it. I do not see it whatsoever. I see it straight down the line. Roman Reigns is walking.
You don't see Big E cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
No,
actually, Baron Corbin will cash it in.
Not on the
He's
Universal
desperate.
title.
He's desperate. Why not? Why not?
I got a feeling that John Cena gave us the answer during his promo last Friday, man. I really do. He said Roman Reigns is going to kick his ass,
2,
right?
3.
But Roman Reigns is going to lose 1, 2, 3. The question is, who? Because to me, the message that I got was Cena's not going to win. That's what I'm saying. That's my thought process of that promo that he was spilling out there, right? I got a gut feeling because of 65,000 plus fans, and we got to take advantage of it because of the pandemic. I don't think WWE wants to wait until things get shut down again, and then all of a sudden they were like, well, we're going to cash it in, but there's no fans. There's no pop to it. You know what I mean? So, and everyone's anticipating Big E to become champion. A lot of people saying Big E might be the WWE champion if he crosses over to Raw, which is the rumor. But we've seen it already where champions can switch brands. It's happened before. So,
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He can still cash in at SummerSlam, but it's not on the Universal title. But he can still cash in at SummerSlam. Yes, he can.
I think that would be for Big E, knowing that he's been teasing Paul Heyman to cash in somewhere else. Is like, I'm staying away with Roman Reigns. I don't think he's that type of guy. But hey, another match here. I like to play this one also one last time from Steve. Good points here. Check it out.
It's a very interesting dynamic, and it's a great prediction you make there, Ovi, when we're looking at it, because like you said here, what's kind of going on with Nikki Ash? Almost a superhero. I feel to myself, I'm almost invested, but I'm not quite invested enough. There's something not quite connecting. And I think the problem is that with Nikki Ash, a lot of people don't like the character, and I understand your philosophy with that. I have a bit of a disconnect as well. But I like the fact that Nikki has gone out there and created her own character, tried something herself to get herself over. And I want people to try and get behind her, because this could be a breakthrough for other superstars to try and do their own thing, to get their own gimmicks, to get themselves more over on TV. If Vince can see that it works with something that a superstar like Nikki has been able to create her own character and get somewhere, that would be amazing to see. They've put a lot of faith in her, given the Raw Women's Championship, yes, with Money in the Bank. I think that's the downfall, because like you said, where's the connection here? Almost a superhero. It's meant to be that underdog story, almost get the job done. The problem is that Nikki Ash has already become Raw Women's Champion. And since becoming the champion, she's probably been the worst booked champion since Rey Mysterio back in 2006. She's not winning many matches. Yes, she beat Charlotte Flair eventually, but she didn't once. She didn't beat Rhea this week on Raw. She was on a losing tag team later in the night. So for WWE's strange 50-50 booking, or in this case, what feels 25-75, I think Nikki's going to escape with the championship. I think Rhea may be the one, or one of Rhea or Charlotte gets pinned. The other then will go to be the challenger for Nikki at the next pay-per-view, because it feels weird if they eliminate this very quickly. My main hope, though, is that we get a return of Becky Lynch, but I'm not so sure that's going to happen, especially now on the Raw side. Now it's been rumored for SmackDown. So I stick with a prediction of Nikki Ash, and I'm sorry, Ovi, because that means we've not agreed on either prediction so far.
And we said Becky Lynch. Yeah, and then you know what I told him afterwards? I said, yo, if you was on my show at nights, you'd be kicked out with Frank, because
he said Becky Lynch. I like that. You know what? I like the way he's thinking.
But if you paid attention, he did say that if Becky Lynch returned, the rumor is speculating SmackDown, because WWE believes in the family sticking together. So correct. Seth Rollins on SmackDown, he has the Edge versus Edge, right? And why put Becky Lynch on Raw unless you're planning on Seth Rollins to jump over to Raw? You know what I mean? And it's still early, because the draft ain't going to happen till around September or maybe early October. So it is what it is. So that's why I say, I'm not depending on Becky Lynch to come out on SummerSlam. I think it's a waste, to be honest with you. I think the perfect time for her to come out is for the Queen of the Ring tournament that's happening in October, and the winner will be in Saudi Arabia at the end of October. But more on that. On this match, I say Rhea Ripley has the advantage. She's like a tweener of this whole mess, because Charlotte Flair is trying to prove that she's the best. Nikki Ash almost wants to be a superhero, or almost doing something. And it's like Rhea Ripley's watching two people getting burned out. And she's going to take advantage of it, and she's going to get that victory and pin Charlotte Flair 1, 2, 3. There you go.
No.
Uh-oh. All right.
No. I mean, I was almost convinced with Nikki Ash, because she's almost the obvious choice to win this. And I've said it before that, she has beaten both competitors on separate occasions, whether it was the beat the clock match or whatever the case may be. Okay. So it was the obvious choice. But now as this thing keeps on going and going and going and going, I'm getting a little tired of the Nikki Ash character. She's not focusing on the title. She's focusing on a message. We already got the message. Enough with it. Now become the champion that we all expect you to be, and you're not living that up. You're not living up to the hype of being a champion. I'm sorry. This may be good for a little 3 or 4 year old girl who wants to hear the message, but as a WWE fan, I want to see title defenses. I want to see you act like a champion. You're not acting like a champion, and I think Charlotte Flair is the dominant one here. She knows what she has to do to win championships. She knows how to do it on the grandest stage. She's already beaten Rhea Ripley not once but twice. Okay, so she knows
3 times the charm.
Why not? Yeah, she could beat Nikki Ash anytime she wants. She just fails to do it, but she could do it whenever she wants. Charlotte Flair is the obvious choice for me to win the gold again.
Okay.
Nikki, almost a superhero. Why not? She wins and she becomes the superhero now. She beat both of them at the same time. Just saying.
What do you mean beat both of them at the same time? It's a triple threat match, man.
Right. So she wins the match.
They both pin them both on the ground.
No.
That's just like Roman Reigns. Yeah.
I mean,
listen. It doesn't matter who loses. Okay, if it's Ripley or Flair. You know what? They both lose the match regardless.
Well,
so Nikki Ash wins. She becomes her superhero. Okay. I mean, look, I personally don't like the Nikki Ash superhero story. We've had superheroes before. Let it live. Let it rest. We don't need another superhero. But they're gonna live it out. Hey, Nikki Ash, she became the superhero. All right, change the goddamn character and go back to
that
Cross.
Superhero is gonna work when she goes against Alexa Bliss. That's when it's gonna work. Have them two go at it. Superhero versus evil, go at it.
Knock the evil out.
Make it a Marvel comic book or something like that. But Noob and Company is saying I'm going with Rhea Ripley because Charlotte Flair is becoming more and more boring with every title reign.
I agree with that.
We do need some fresh champs and stuff like that, and I got it. But Flair, you can't dismiss Charlotte with her skills on the mic. You can't dismiss that. But
we need fresh champions, but we don't have enough women on the roster to become fresh champions.
And it's going to happen soon, man. After NXT TakeOver, there's going to be a major push. So, and I can't wait for that to happen. But as far as concerned, I mean, we're all entitled to our opinions. I got you. But Hector, you said you're going for Charlotte to win this?
Yeah, I've changed my mind looking at this over in time. I'm going with Charlotte on this one.
All right. Okay. And again, between now and Saturday, we will overthink it and be like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go for this one. But then I'm also looking at it this way, and it's something that Steve also told me was Nikki Ash hasn't been a long champion, right? But neither was Charlotte when she won the title, right? Because since she won the title, she got cashed in on. So, I don't know, man. Like, that Raw Women's division is kind of salty to me. So, we'll see. But anyways, let's move on to the other event here. The WWE Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Goldberg did the spear on Lashley. But what people are not mentioning is Lashley got up. Yeah, he went down, but he got up. And that's bad for Goldberg.
Okay, but did he get up right away, or did it take him at least 3 seconds to get up?
The camera didn't aim at that area, so I couldn't tell. But I tell you what, most people that get speared stay on the ground. They still limp on the ground. He got back up.
3 seconds. It just takes 3 seconds. That's all it takes.
Okay, guys.
Just saying. 1,
2, 3. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely correct. But I'm still going on Lashley. I just don't see Goldberg and that same storyline that he wanted to do in front of his son, and then he got all those football players with his boys and stuff like that. I'm sorry, man. Like something. This is not a Mysterio where father and son are like trying to work together. This is a guy that's trying to show off, and I think showing off when he was little was one thing, but now he's old enough. I don't think that this is not worth it. I don't think so. And like Frank was doing right now, he's yawning and boring. It is boring. It is boring. I'd rather have Cena than having Goldberg on this one. So I got Lashley, Frank.
Look, I hope Goldberg gets speared once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I don't give a damn how many times he gets speared. Okay, you know what? Get speared, go home, have a good day, and retire. Don't come back. WWE does not need Goldberg. Okay? They might need Cena, but not Goldberg.
Let's not get into the soapbox again.
I'm not saying, you know what? I agree with.
Is he breaking up on us?
I think so.
I got it.
But I'm not he's saying he agrees.
Am I breaking?
Yeah. So you see, I'm going to say what Ovi's saying. Ovi's saying that Frank is 100% correct, and he agrees with Frank, and he disagrees with Hector. So it doesn't matter what Hector says. Frank's going to be right regardless. That's exactly what Ovi's saying. So, at the end, Goldberg's old. Go ahead and retire. That's what Ovi's saying. Thank you.
Well, I don't know what's going on with this network and stuff like that, but I tell you, we're going to take a short break. Hopefully our comms are back together again. But this is your introduction, Frank, for your show. Check it out. And you can listen to Speaking It Real every Wednesday and Fridays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What did you say? 8? Oh, you changed the time? It's 8 o'clock on Wednesday?
No, 9.
I did say 9 o'clock. Man,
I said 9.
Man, you gotta go back to school. Get out of here with that bullcrap. But yeah, you want to check them out, man. Wonderful show every Wednesday, Friday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Different topics here and there, especially it's mostly current events, man. So please tune in to Clovercrest Media or go on Facebook and YouTube and type in Speaking It Real, and that's nothing but the host Frank Cuesta. So awesome to you, man. Great show. But let's move on real quick. I know I was saying some stuff about Goldberg and everything, but I think we all agree that Bobby Lashley should be favored to win. We hope that sticks out. The SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, they got canceled over the weekend for some odd reason, and there's speculation that they might not make it this Saturday at SummerSlam. We don't know what the story is or anything else like that. We just hope that they're both healthy and things are groovy. In this world today, we're dealing with COVID, and I'm not saying that they got COVID. I'm not saying anything like that. So don't twist me or anything else like that. But regardless if it happens or not, I'm still going for Bianca Belair. She's on top of her game, especially when you main event in Florida in front of thousands of people cheering on in the concert, defeating Carmella. And then she's been on TV, let's put it this way. She's been blown up and doesn't seem logical for her to lose a title.
No, I agree with that. I mean, this is not Banks' time right now to regain this title. I know she's got her little stooges to help her out right now, but Belair will find a way of winning, even if that means we get a surprise guest to wind up keeping the other two stooges away. Who knows? Whatever.
Becky,
get out of here with this Becky stuff, man.
I think so, but look.
You don't know nothing. Becky's
Look,
not gonna step into this match. Are you crazy?
I like Sasha Banks. I mean, I love Sasha Banks, but you know what? Belair has her number.
All right. You say Belair has a number?
Yep.
Okay. You like such a band, but Belair has a number. Nice. Good job.
That's true though.
All right. Moving on to the next match, Edge versus Seth Rollins. This to me might steal the show and have a bit of a storyline in the in-ring match. But I'm sticking to my guns. I'm still picking Seth Rollins to win.
I think this is going to steal the show. I think this should be the main event, honestly, even though there's no titles online. I mean, these two, I think, are working pretty strong with each other. And if you look at the SummerSlam record, these two got phenomenal records. So somebody got to lose. But
I think he said that he was going for Edge on this one.
But I think Edge is going to wind up winning this match.
Absolutely. I knew you was going to go for Edge.
Yeah.
Well,
I say Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins did a finish Edge once and for all. He did a finish where he started back in 2014.
All right.
That's all I got to say to that.
Fair enough. And we're going to talk about that more Saturday. SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Usos versus the Mysterios. I want to be biased on this one. I'm leaning over to the Mysterios right now. I really am. But there's just something about Dominic Mysterio. I'm not clicking with him yet. You know, and I think he's going to be the cause of the Mysterios losing, and the Usos are going to retain their titles.
Well, you can't be right on both situations. You only can pick one.
I thought I got you there.
No, because you're not going to come back later and say, "Well, I told you so." Yeah, you told us a lot of things, so you was right. You're going to be right about something.
See, there you go. I told you.
No. But I agree with you. Dominic is becoming that stereotypical type of child who doesn't want to listen to their parents' advice and ideas, and he's going to wind up down the line costing something, with them too. But yeah, I think right now, the Usos will win this match, and I think somewhere down the line, the Mysterios are going to wind up imploding. I mean, because Dominic just wants to do his own thing and not take his dad's advice.
I don't think it's that. I mean, he did take his dad's advice. Matter of fact, his dad saved him to make sure that he was focused on the match on Friday SmackDown. But I do see that when it's time for him to be on his own, that's probably where we're going to see Rey Mysterio probably retire and give him the mask and be like, here you go. Here's a symbol. You're the man now. Take the torch, lead the way. I'm stepping away. I can see that. But my future match will be the Usos versus the Street Profits for the Tag Team Championship. That's what I'm looking forward to, even though I've been calling it for the WrestleMania moment, but it could happen sooner. So that's why right now, like I said, I'm iffy on this. But I'm leaning on the Usos now. I wasn't earlier. But Frank, what you got?
Yeah, I wasn't all into. I mean, I like the Usos, but I wasn't all into them. Just the fact of all the crap that's gone on with them outside of the ring, and I thought
not losing comms on this one. And I think I'm just losing comms overall. So I apologize for all this. You got it?
I'm losing both of y'all, but it just with SummerSlam having the tribal chief and his tag teams, losing their belts at SummerSlam, that would be catastrophic for the whole head of the table thing. So I don't see this happening.
No. Well, hey, we'll move on. Like I said, we'll cover more on Saturday. United States Championship, Sheamus versus Damian Priest. I'm leaning on Damian Priest on this one. Just because I believe Sheamus is going to get that push for a world championship. And that's what it boils down to. When you become United States Championship, you're waiting for your spot to move forward. And this gives a chance for Sheamus to break his character from being a heel to a babyface against Bobby Lashley. I would love to see that.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I mean, he don't need that United States title around his waist. All he's doing is just babysitting it, and this is not the Sheamus that we know. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that Sheamus that had the mohawk or somebody, I want to see him go after Bobby Lashley and maybe give him a bro kick. Let him taste that for a change.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Give it to Damian Priest. Boricua power.
Oh, look at that. I
He's
need
trying to
this
get brownie points.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Mhm.
Let me see if you get more brownie points on this match. Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal. I'm saving this. I'm not gonna say much, but McIntyre will win. Bottom line.
As long as McIntyre doesn't come up with another fairy tale story about that sword, I'll be good to go.
Fair enough.
Drew McIntyre.
I think Jinder Mahal's going to be eating his words.
Okay.
He's gonna what?
Be eating his words. He's going to lose.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. We got the RK Bros together. Randy Orton and Riddle are together. They shook hands, hugged each other. They familia for now. But they're going against the tag team champions, AJ Styles and Omos. I'm going for the RK Bro.
Yeah.
Damn right.
I just want Omos to get RKO'd. I better see that in SummerSlam. That better be replica to Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. I want that RKO beating that, and it'll meme across social media. Randy Orton did the impossible. RKO'd the shit out of Omos. He went 7 feet high.
Yeah, we can see Randy Orton jumping off the top turnbuckle just to go after.
Dude, I had that same vision
with the RKO. Yeah, either that or AJ Styles is going to get an RKO from trying to do the phenomenal.
What about Riddle doing it to Omos?
I can see that just to keep him out of the ring. But
I don't see Riddle. I see him trying.
He'll try to attempt, and then Randy Orton out of nowhere, boom! There you go. I mean,
RKO out of nowhere. That's how it is.
Styles, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, and then the other one that's that formula, which I'm not a big fan of, Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. Dude, I've been seeing clips of Eva Marie training inside a wrestling ring, and nothing that she does during training has been shown in the WWE on television. And I'm wondering why. This woman has the talent. She has the skills as a professional wrestler and not utilized. You know, she's more involved in her beauty. But I got to say that Deer Drip, excuse me, may be a factor in this.
Drip.
Drip. This is not Johnny.
Oh,
this is not Johnny Drip. But yeah, man, it's something. I think this is Alexa Bliss all the way.
Yeah, I just want Doudrop to smack the pink off of hair
and turn blue.
Something. I mean,
turn her back into Alexa Bliss.
No, but I think I thought that for Eva Marie to come back, I thought she was going to bring something more than just, what she's been doing. It's just the same thing, right? I feel like I'm sounding like Roman Reigns, and you come back, it's just the same thing. It's
I don't know.
Missionary position.
Yeah.
Between her and Carmella, I don't know who has the bigger ego. I mean, seriously.
Nah, Carmella,
but
man.
I want Doudrop to slap her so hard that the dog goes, damn!
Oh man, that would be funny though. That would. Man, I even forgot my clip there. That would have been a good one.
Got him!
There we go. There it is. But out of all the match, like I said, I did mention Seth Rollins and Edge will be able to steal the show, and I firmly believe it. You agreed with me, Frank. Do you agree as well?
Hands
so
down.
Without that match, will there be another match close enough to steal the show?
Maybe the tag teams, the RK Bros.
I think if Randy Orton RKO's almost, that would be the biggest talk about SummerSlam, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But is that Money in the Bank briefcase? I'm telling you. Look, I excuse me, analyze all this. Very rare do you see a lot of titles change over, and especially in some. This is not NXT takeover, you know. Um, I don't think I have a gut feeling that none of the major titles will change over. I think the WWE champion and Universal champion are they're going to win. The point is that who's cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, or will there be a match, right, between Big E and Baron Corbin at SummerSlam or on SmackDown this Friday? Because during the dark match, right, Big E did confront Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin faked it to handing over the briefcase, tried to swing at him, and then he ran away. And he was asking for $20 backstage so he could get a taxi to get out of the place. But I like it. I really do. I like Baron Corbin's gimmick here. Now I know people don't like it because the person that he is, he has a resume of being a better fighter. He's a boxer. He's done so much, right? He's Andre the Giant winner, King of the Ring. What else has he done? I mean, what hasn't he not done except for becoming a world champion? But this gimmick is a good takeaway because there's a lot of poverty out there. And I know he's joking about he's wanting $10,000 and stuff like that. I mean, what homeless guy is going to go up to you and be like, yo, can you give me $10,000? I mean, he's always begging at the corner of the street like, hey, can I get $1 or $2 or whatever? I need some food, got a sign and stuff like that. That's happening across our nation. And now we're breaking it down, even Frank, on speaking it real, right? Look, the government is trying to put money in your pockets. And a lot of people think that is BS that, the president of the United States is doing something about it, right? Amongst other things that's going on in Afghanistan and stuff like that. But when you look at Baron Corbin and what he's doing, when you are broke and you're trying to do something, you're going to do whatever it takes to get back on your feet. Sometimes we're going to make hasty decisions we don't even think about. As for Baron Corbin, he stole the briefcase. So imagine you just leave money around or something valuable out there. He's going to take it and pawn it to get some money. So what can you do in that situation? Right? What would you do if you was in his situation? You lost everything. Your house is foreclosed. They took your car, right? Your family leaves you. Now you're at a state of depression, right? And you're asking for people, but people are making fun of you. But yeah, of course, there's karma. There is karma, right? But what happens when you don't help that one individual? What happens when you go to the grocery store, you're trying to put your groceries in the car, and this guy is like, hey, can you spare me some money? What would you do? Would you just say, fuck you, get out of here? Would you say, leave me alone? Or would you give him, look, man, this is all I have. Here's a couple of dollars. See ya. And then on your way. What would you do?
You know what? Funny enough, this topic came up. I'm going to tell you what happened to me today on my way home. I'm driving home. Got my windows down, listening to music. I see this kid, about maybe 19, 20-year-old kid, walking between the lanes. He had CDs. He's
hold on. Let me stop you there. You said he has CDs?
CDs. Yeah. Like a CD to put in your car. Okay. I don't know what his financial situation was or anything because I wasn't going to ask. He's like, hey, you know what? Look, you mind buying the CDs? I'm like, how much are they? He's like, oh, $5. I go, here, bro, take $10. Give me the CD. Thank you. You know what? He's hustling his money. He's trying to go out there and sell the CD, to make money. How he got it, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't ask. I was like, all right, here you go. Now, when I see somebody out there just begging for money on a constant basis, and you see this person every single day, and you see them in change of clothes, because I see it a lot, especially out here. You're like, okay, wait a minute. This guy has a change of clothes. He's not really that dirty. You know what I'm saying? So you're hesitant to want to help. I mean, I saw it once. I was working for a company where Dude, all I did was find people jobs. I told the guys, hey, look, I don't have money for you, but here's my business card. Get a hold of me. This is where I work. Be there tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning. I did that to a lot of people. I will say that maybe 10% showed up. So, people do also want to try to live off of that and not better themselves either.
Totally noted, but there's also shelters that provide clothing and stuff like that. I'm sure that you're not gonna bump into a homeless guy wearing like the up to date Air Jordans,
No.
some Gucci pants or something like that, or polo shirt. I mean, yeah, I got you, man. You know what I mean? But it's always an eye opener, especially if someone that really did have a life and then all of a sudden everything's been taken away. It could be due to like depression where they lost a family member or something like that, and then you don't help them, you kick them to the curb, and then all of a sudden the worst things can happen. Maybe he becomes suicidal and stuff like that, and then you're left saying, damn, I didn't know that person had a tendency of doing that. You know what I mean? And of course, that particular topic, being suicidal, is very sensitive, and it's going to open up more doors. But to stick with Baron Corbin, right? It's sad that we are living through this, especially through this pandemic, when people don't have jobs and stuff like that, and people complaining about, oh, well, this guy's on unemployment, they make more money than we do, and this and that. But then there are those that get lost in the system, and those are the ones that we need to attend to, right, and help them. And there are people out there that are stubborn, that don't even ask for help when they do need help, and those are the ones that we need to like grab them, help them, encourage them to get back on their feet, because you and I, no one here could ever do anything by themselves. Absolutely not. I don't care who you are. No one could ever do it. There's always someone that always give you a lending hand. You could be a leader and still get help from others, or you could be a subordinate and still get help from others. There's always people reaching out. The thing is, you just got to make that happen. So I like to throw that out there because, it really hits me inside here when I do see it. But then you do got some guys like Baron Corbin where they're really like, yo, motherfucker, you deserved everything for the way you used to treat other people. Those are the guys be like, okay, you see what happens when you want to be a bully, or you see what happens. Go ahead, Hector.
But, and I get what you're saying, karma came back to bite Corbin in the butt. Okay. But one thing I've learned from the spiritual standpoint is we can't judge, you know what I'm saying? Because we all have fallen short. Okay. We're not perfect. Okay. And so, yes, Corbin, we could sit here and say Baron Corbin deserved what he got, but does that mean that we let him stay where he's at? Because, this could be an opportunity to help him change, because he doesn't see the change. He was stuck in a certain way. And there's a quote that I remember that it says that we should never be afraid to fall apart, because it could present an opportunity to rebuild yourself in a way you wish you could have been a long time ago. Okay. And so maybe this is just an opportunity for somebody to really push forward and stick to helping Baron Corbin get to the person that he should have been a long time ago, because he created a Baron Corbin that he thinks was right for the people, or right for himself, and now he hits rock bottom. But we shouldn't leave a person like that there and point the finger. We should bring them up and build them up and let them see the light for themselves,
Okay. I agree with that. But should you let him suffer a little bit so he could so he could humble himself?
No, because I would not want myself to be left there. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I wouldn't want myself to be stuck there just to humble myself, because how can you really humble yourself if you're stuck there, by sitting there and pondering on what I did wrong and how should I fix the situation?
Okay,
or somebody come along and give me that be that person to help me. speak that into me, speak that life into me that I'm not speaking into myself or I see for myself.
Okay, I get that, but when you look at Baron Corbin, who, he's been the bully, now he's down in times, right? And let's say there's someone else. Who would you help first?
What do you mean about who you help first?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the opportunity, right, you got to help one now, and then you can help the other one later, right?
As far as somebody I don't know versus I knowing Baron Corbin?
Yeah. Just out of curiosity.
I would help Baron Corbin because I know who he is. I know where he was at, and I know the potential of where he could be. This other person, I get that, but everybody can change. He wasn't
exactly. You just stole that.
He wasn't a bully by nature. Okay, it was probably something that was taught to him, and that's all he knows. You see. But that doesn't really mean that he's a bully, Maybe him getting into boxing and becoming a Golden Glove boxer, and that's all he knows is how to beat people up because he doesn't know any other way. But if he has the right person to teach him and guide him and show him and be a shepherd in his life, then he can be the Baron Corbin that he really could be to the people and to himself mainly. It's my opinion.
All right, Papi, I agree with you.
There we go. I didn't know you was a Theo, heck, but all right.
Yeah, he said it at the beginning of the show. So yes, you're the Papi, I'm the Theo. So yeah.
No, but you know what? You made a good point, Hector. I mean, it's when you see somebody and you see what they've gone through. You know what? You want to make them better. I was just throwing questions at you just to see.
And that's cool because
where we went with it.
Because my thing is, if I see somebody on the street, a made up sign saying, need money for food, whatever, who am I to judge them? They could be hustling me. And guess what? That's not my place to figure that out. I give it to them. And guess what? If something comes about it, then they're blessed. If it doesn't, then guess what? I still did my part and they will still have to face the consequences later on. I don't because I did what I was supposed to do. But I can't sit there and just judge them. Oh, you know what? They got good shoes. The jeans look pretty good. That shirt looks pretty decent. They're just hustling for money. That's not my place to make that judgment call because they might have gotten those clothes just that day and now they feel good about themselves and that this day was going to be a good day and they're going to get some money. So,
well, I'll tell you what I do when I see somebody has a sign that says need food. I tell them, okay, where do you want to go?
Right.
Let's go over here and I'll buy them food. I'm not a fan, honestly, of giving people money just like that, because the last thing I want to do is if you're telling me, hey, I need money to feed my family, I need money for food. You know what? I don't know you from squat. For all I know, you might go ahead, get that money, and go buy liquor with it.
But that's not our place to figure that out. That is not our place. You do your part and help. Guess what? Now the judgment is
my part.
Right. So you did your part. You're not going to be judged for that. The person who deceived you will get judged for that, not you. You did your part.
But my part will be instead of giving them money, you say, okay, who's your family? How much? Oh, okay, let's go get food. Here you go. That's my part. I'm just not one to give money out. You need clothes. Fine. You need clothes for your kids. What size are they? Okay, here you go.
And that's fine. I agree with that. I mean, everybody has their way. But my thing is, if I'm going to give money, I'm not going to sit there and just judge them and think they're going to use it to go buy alcohol or whatever. If they do, I don't know that. I'm not saying in here that I'm going to enable that. But
we're not gonna follow them all the way to what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? So hey, I like the way you guys carried on to this, and I see that we hit some touching points when it comes to Baron Corbin's gimmick. And look, and one more thing before we move on to the last segment to the show is that if you don't give the guy money, right? What happens then? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have to. But let's say like one day you said, nope, I'm not. What do you think Baron Corbin did when he lost to Kevin Owens? He went and stole the briefcase, right? Mm-hmm. Which is big.
Right. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Right. And that's exactly what's happening. And you know what he's thinking right now? He is thinking that if I'm able to cash in this Money in the Bank briefcase, I get my money back. I'll go back to how I was living, and that's exactly what's going on. And that's
You're
going
right.
to be very frustrating for Big E. And he has an agenda to get that briefcase back, which we might see this Friday on SmackDown. And I hope he does because he's well deserving. I mean, he did earn it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because that's a good point, because you could feel guilty if you didn't help that person, and now you enable that person to go steal because you didn't help them, and now you're sitting there watching the 7 o'clock news and see that person's face because they broke into a convenience store and shot somebody because you never gave them that money that they were looking for, and now you could feel guilty about that. You see, so there's a lot of situations that we got to look at here, but you know what? It's not my place to make a judgment call. I give you the money. But like you said, if there's a restaurant right there, hey, let's go in and go eat. Order whatever you want, and get an extra plate for you to go. I agree with that. I'm on board with that because I've done that too. You know, so. But if I'm in the middle of nowhere, here's some money. Go do what you got to do.
Well, I'll tell you what. For those that needed some money, enough like that, we've heard stories about superstars being released and being upset because they didn't get what they came for in WWE, right? So one responded, and that was Tyler Breeze, who made a huge quote on Twitter stating that everyone should shut the hell up because you knew the type of business you were getting into. But with that, I want to reach out to all the audience out there, all the social media there, those I'm targeting that are always negative about the WWE. And I think people forgot what it means to be in NXT. I think even some of the superstars forgot about what it is to become NXT. So back in 2019, NXT became its brand when they competed against Raw and SmackDown. It was much needed because of the fact that the superstars were allegedly stuck in Saudi Arabia. And that was a great time to prepare themselves for the Survivor Series. And I also want to reiterate, Vince McMahon always said, and I'm going to jump into something different, that he is not competing against any other wrestling programs, right? And he did move NXT to Tuesdays, which is okay. It's not because they lost the war. They're not competing against them. NXT is the next generation of superstars, right? If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you got to move on, right? And because we have like guys like Tommaso Ciampa, like Johnny Gargano, those guys are still in NXT, and Adam Cole, the Undisputed Era, you know, those guys, they're still there, minus one. But the thing is that they should already jump ship to the main roster, right? The NXT is not a security blanket. It is not a brand. It is a brand to where you're developing yourself to become on the main roster. But a lot of people think, right, that NXT is supposed to be this high expectation compared to AEW, and that's not the case. So I wanted to address y'all and be like, look, NXT is supposed to be this brand that it took off because you got guys like Triple H and Shawn Michaels that were able to make that happen. And it did a fabulous job, you know, but you got to be able to maintain it and work with writers and everything else to better yourself, you know. So I want to say that. And if you guys got more comments about it, I'm here. I'm all ears. You know, NXT, they say it's going backwards. I don't think it's going back to where it's supposed to be. That's my take on it. So what's your take on it? You agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. I mean, they're doing their thing. I mean, it's very successful. You got a lot of great talent there. I mean, don't be surprised we see a surprise at SummerSlam. You know, I mean, I enjoy watching it, and you know, as the weeks go on, I get more intrigued with it. You know, because you got a lot of great superstars there. You know, I mean, if you're gonna bring them up, I give them the push that they deserve. You know, but if it doesn't work out like you said, then go on and move on. You know, they got a great developmental system there. They got a lot of great coaches. You know, so
yeah. One other superstar that I know that I had interviewed, she was able to tell me, hey, she had a great experience, but now she had that dark match in AEW, so and that's Zeta Zhang. So and I mean, it all depends on who it is, right? because some might have that high expectation, that dream, and some people, they like to lash out in front of everybody just to get attention. So, but I like to keep that in mind, and what NXT is for. I mean, hey, it used to be Florida Championship Wrestling, right? So, who ever heard of Florida Championship Wrestling before? I didn't. I mean, of course, you live in Florida. You know what I mean? If you do your research on superstars, you say, oh, he was from there, right? You don't see OVM, all right, Ohio Valley, whatever, OVW, excuse me, Ohio Valley Wrestling, being its brand better than anybody else. No, that's a developmental place. People come, just like WWE, they all go to the Performance Center. So, but hey, I like to throw that out there. Great topic, guys. I love it. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Once again, Hector, Frank, and myself, this is the HHW show, and we'd like to hear a lot from you. So if you got any comments, whatever, hey, leave a comment even in the HHW show website. We're all ears. We're great, all ideas. But this Saturday is SummerSlam, and also will be our last episode for this season, as we're taking at least a month off to refresh our minds, our content, and everything else. But the big season coming up will be the active superstars and wrestling programs, in which we have our own fantasy wrestling. That's what we're doing. So
cross branding, baby.
We're cross branding like no other, baby. That's right. So, but anyways, guys, thank you once again. I'll see you guys in just a bit. So there you have it. We got small predictions there about SummerSlam. We also talked about Baron Corbin's gimmick, and of course, the purpose of why NXT. But why do we all need to be negative about things? We don't need to. We live in a society where people want to have their voices, right? They want to go into their devices, talk the big game and everything else, and say, oh, WD sucks or AEW's better and yada, yada, yada. But it's all about what you take out of it, right? Like, for example, our show, we look at the gimmicks. We gave you a perfect example about Baron Corbin, right? We take that, we learn from it, we'll move on. So in every wrestling program, they have a different taste. And it's about what taste you have. Doesn't mean you got backlash. Because remember, every superstar pretty much has been almost in every brand. And if you think AEW is the best, yeah, I give props to AEW. I don't hate AEW. I like AEW. But I know where they came from. It never started in AEW, though. Just to let you know. Thank you for watching the HHW Show podcast. I'm Ovi Muniz. And once again, tune in this Saturday for the prediction show about SummerSlam. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. And also, check us out on Twitch. That's right, HHW Show. On behalf of Clovercrest Media, thank you for watching. Until next time.